Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aquarium. My name is Mishal Ali, and today we're going to be building a vivarium. This is going to be a two-step or two-part video, I should say. And today we're going to be talking about the materials needed for the build, as well as try to complete our false bottom and our background. So let's go ahead and get started and see how much we can get done today. I have here what we call egg crate, or what is called light diffuser panel. Strong, lightweight material, fairly inexpensive. You can find it at any large hardware store, and we use it a lot in our vivarium builds. So we're going to use snips to cut it to the dimensions that we want, and that's what we're going to begin with today in our build. Okay, so I've cut up the egg crate to the measurements that I want. And here are the 5 main pieces, the 4 sides and the 1 top. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the dimensions, or why it is I chose to cut them to this size. I wanted the height of the egg crate to be just a little bit over where the water can actually accumulate at any one point. And I also, so the height of the egg crate that I cut is just about where the maximum water line in this type of tanks can come up to. So because I do want to make sure there's an area of land that is always dry no matter what, how much water I have in there. So that will be the point at which the media is sitting on top of. So for the depth of the tank itself, I did not cut it to the actual depth of the tank. I left it maybe 6 inches or so short to allow me to grade the media back onto the top of the egg crate itself. And I did the same with the sides. This is the side piece, the longer piece over here, basically leaving about an inch or so gap on either side, which allow me to put media that's going to hide this egg crate from sight itself, because as useful as it is, it sure does look ugly in the build, eh? So before I start constructing the false bottom here, I want to talk a little bit about a couple of materials that are going to be used for that platform, for that false bottom. And the first one is the zip ties, just regular cable ties, zip ties. But I do like to use the ones that are black in color, because the black color is easier to disguise. And also these thinner ones. You don't want to get ones that are too thick, because then it makes it very difficult for them to go through the holes of the screen, which we also need. This is what's going to be preventing media from going through the false bottom and getting into your water. It's used for preventing bugs from coming in. You can buy it by bigger rolls, smaller rolls. Make sure you don't get the stainless steel or metal ones, because they will rust and corrode after a while. So zip ties and screen mesh. Those are the 2 that we're going to be using alongside with the egg crate to construct our false bottom. Okay, so I've attached the screen onto the egg crate right now. You can see I used basically the same zip ties for that. And in some areas, you can see I folded it over rather than to cut it. And that's to avoid too many gaps and too many zip ties. So for me, it works better that way. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the tank so we can see what it looks like again. Okay, so here it is inside of the tank right now. Now, towards the back, it's all the way towards the back. And again, on the sides, we can see we have some gaps over here where the media is going to go and hide all of this as well. And here, we're going to go ahead and put this extra piece that I was talking about earlier. I put some screen on this as well. And here we go. And this is just to help ease that gradient from the land area to the area down here that we kind of leave for water to pool at, right? Just so it doesn't look like a big cliff and very unnatural. So here we go. False bottom complete. So next we're going to go ahead and construct our background. I have here the foam insert that comes with these types of tanks, and that's what I'm going to be using today. I like using these rather than spray foaming an entire can of foam or more on directly onto the glass, which makes it very hard to change your mind, which I tend to do sometimes, right? These inserts have these tracks in the back as well. In case you decide to add a water feature or a heater or something along that line, this is for the power source to go in the back, and so they're going to be hidden and not seen, which is another point that I like. I cut this to the height that I want, and I don't know if you can see from there, but I also carved the edges here on the sides so that it's tapered in, so that when you're looking at it from the sides, it's not this abrupt straight wall that looks very unnatural. So here's the foam insert. So on here, we're going to be using the spray foam that everybody uses, but in much, much smaller quantities. We're going to use that to attach our pieces of driftwood and cork bark onto here. And then this entire thing is going to be silicone on the back of the tank itself. And then itself is going to get covered in silicone with the media that we want on the background itself. And we'll be getting into that later on as well. Okay, on to the next step. So I have here the materials that I've chosen for my background, a piece of cork bark and 3 pieces of Malaysian driftwood. I love using the cork bark in the build. It's an excellent material. It holds for a very long time without decomposing or deteriorating. And with all the nooks and crannies, it's great for mounting plants and lots of surface area for those roots and whatnot to grow inside. The Malaysian driftwood is very nice. It's dense. It's not it's pretty heavy, but not the craziest that I've seen, and has lots of character and nooks and crannies to mount or shove plants inside of. So this is the package that I've chosen, and I'm going to be using this Great Stuff expanding foam. And I've chosen the black one because, again, the black is a little bit easier to hide later on when we put the silicone and the cocoa coir and media on top of that as well. So Great Stuff expanding foam. Okay, so I finished applying the expanding foam to the driftwood and to the cork bark to attach them to each other or to the background. And remember, when you're done, this thing will continue to drip for a little while. So make sure you don't have anything that you're afraid to get damage underneath it. Now, this expanding foam is going to take a couple of days or so to really kind of cure and make sure there's no soft spots inside when I'm carving it. So join us for part 2 of this video, where we'll be carving it out and finishing up the background with silicone and cocoa fiber, and then attaching it to the Vivarium, and then adding the media, which we will also discuss, and finishing the Vivarium itself. So we'll see you in the next video.